Dear students, today in this lecture we are going to study about the chapter which is titled The Many and the None. The authors of this chapter are Bansuri Taneja and Ashish Kothari. Dear students, this chapter is basically an essay about the environment. Before going to discuss, first of all, we should know about the authors Bansuri Taneja and Ashish Kothari. Bansuri Taneja is an environmental activist, and Ashish Kothari, we can say, an Indian environmentalist who has been teaching the subject of environment at the Indian Institute of Administration, New Delhi. So both these authors, they are concerned, they are, we can say, cornered, they are focused about the environment. So in this chapter, we are going to study about environment, how human beings have influenced this natural environment. No doubt, they have achieved a lot by industrialization, by commercialization, by, we can say, huge development in the fields of science and technology. But besides it, they have also damaged their environment. So both these authors are concerned about the environment. They want our attention to preserve, conserve this biological diversity. Dear students, in the introduction of this chapter, we can say that this essay is of great relevance to the modern developed world. As we belong to this modern developed world, that means the essay, which is titled The Many and the None, so it is of great relevance to we people. It deals with the challenges we have to overcome. So we can say in this chapter, it deals with the challenges that we have to overcome to secure and stabilize the biological diversity. You know biological diversity as maximum of you are science students, and it's an easy term. Biological diversity means varied group of living beings in the form of plants, in the form of animals, insects, vegetation. huh? This all is included in the biological diversity on our planet. So this chapter will focus about the challenges to overcome to secure and stabilize the biological diversity. Besides our, we can say, the development, we must struggle to strike a balance between economic development and conservation of biodiverse life. That means in this chapter we are being concerned to maintain a balance between our economic development and this biological diversity or biodiverse life. You know that we are surrounded by this biodiverse life in order to ensure a happy living on this planet. Now, dear students, before going to discuss the chapter in detail, we know that there are millions of species of uh, living beings on this planet. So we can say that we don't have the knowledge of all the species, but mm, uh, we have a plenty of knowledge about the species that have been discovered so far. Most of the species that we were known in our childhood, or we can say our grandparents, they are nowadays extincting, or we can say their number has been diminished, or they have completely extinct. दैट मीन्स कि वो सारे ख़त्म हो चुके हैं. कुछ ऐसी स्पेशीज़ जिसमें हम बात करेंगे, अगर हम टिगर्स की बात करेंगे तो इंडिया के अंदर इनकी तादाद पहले बहुत ज़्यादा थी. अब चूँकि वक्त के साथ जितना इकनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट होता गया और उसके साथ इनकी जो तादाद थी वो बहुत कम हो गई. तो इस चैप्टर में हमें इसी चीज़ के बारे में बताया गया है कि वी हैव टू कंसर्न, we have to be focused, we have to think about this biodiverse life. We have to protect it. No doubt our development is necessary, our economic development is we can say that's a dire need of the modern world, but we have to also maintain a balance between our development and this biodiverse life. Dear students, in this chapter the authors have talked, or we can say they talk about the biodiversity and its disappearance at a fast rate. You know that variety of, or we can say plenty of these species, they are revolving, or we can say they are surrounding we people, and variety, we can say variety adds to excitement and interest in our lives. That means plants are, animals are, insects are, grasslands are, lakes are, forests are. It's a biodiverse, or we can say biodiversity, is it? So these things, they add excitement and interest in our lives. Dear students, life without this variety is dull and boring. So if these things are not present, are not surrounded by to we people, our life will become dull and boring. The variety and variability of life on this planet Earth, this is called biodiversity. Okay, so the variety and variability of life that is existing on this planet, it is called biodiversity. This biodiversity can be seen in thousand varieties of mangoes in India. If we take a small example, so in India there are thousand varieties of mangoes, so there is diversity in mangoes. It is present in 14 different kinds of wood. So if we want to know about this biodiversity, for example, we can take the example of different kinds of 14 different kinds of wood in our country, that we inlaid to make a wall painting. So it is also present in the exciting colors of holy and Indian clothes. This diversity can be seen in the, we can say that this diversity can be seen in the exciting colors of holy and Indian clothes, and the beautiful and attractive animals like tiger, rhino, and the elephant. So plenty of things around us where we can see, where we can um, realize this diversity. Dear students, this diversity also includes the ecosystems, both natural and human influenced, and the examples are forests, lakes, rivers, coasts, seas, grasslands, agricultural fields, pastures, deserts, and snowbound peaks. So, in this chapter, we are focused to know about our biodiverse life, and we are also focused to conserve a balance between our development and conservation of this biodiverse life. Dear students, the authors have given us an illustration to explain this alarming reality about this biodiversity of life on earth. They have given us an illustration. For example, when a ship loses one nut, the loss seems very minor. If a ship loses one nut, the loss is very minor. But if a ship goes on losing nut after nut, the loss becomes alarming. The sinking of the ship then seems a foregone conclusion. So, when a ship loses only one nut, the loss is minor. When it loses nut after another nut, the loss is alarming, and the ship is, we can say that, there seems that there is the sinking of the ship. So at the, we can say, at the conclusion, we can say the ship will now sink. In the same way, if we go on losing species, we know that there were different kinds of these living species surrounding we people. So if we go on losing these species, their genes that sustain our earth, our survival will be impossible. So there are global changes, like we can say that changes in the climate, hydrological patterns, so and other ecological functions on which we all survive continue to assume threatening proportions. These warnings are not taken non-seriously. So we have got different types of challenges, but they are not taken as seriously. So we take them as non-seriously. It will be dangerous to forget that biological diversity is closely linked to our lives, and the loss of biodiversity will affect us and the coming generations. So, dear students, we should not be selfish to think that Earth is meant to serve our needs, but we must be capable of thinking and feeling that the biodiverse life on this Earth is necessary for our survival. So, without this biodiversity, or without this biodiverse life, our survival is not possible. Okay, we must, dear students, realize that loss of biodiversity will have its negative impact on the rest of the living world as well. Thank you, dear students. We will meet in another lecture for further explanation of this chapter. Thank you very much.